Hello and welcome. Welcome to this most exquisite, beautiful, and ever expanding present now moment. It is my greatest honor to welcome you into my presence and to be present within your presence as we are in co-creation in this present moment, as I know that souls are magnetized to each other to receive the gifts of each other in a sovereign field of creation where that which is occurring is just beyond human understanding, because it is just absolutely magnificent. And I have created this very channel, our One Crystalline Home, when I was guided to do so a few months ago, about 5-6 months ago. And during that time, I've created an introduction to this channel. And I'm now guided to create a new introduction, a reintroduction of who I am and why I am here. And the importance of that is that during this last few moments on our beloved Earth, Gaia, there has been a huge shift in collective consciousness of humanity, a huge shift in the consciousness of Earth, a huge shift, therefore, on the collective consciousness of our solar system, our galaxies and universes, as everything that happens on Earth directly impacts the whole cosmos as the one cosmology of our beings, our one cosmic body, which is sovereign, which is crystalline, which is pristine, which is ever expanding, and which is living energy that for me feels like grace, the purest form of love. And that is the very architecture of the cosmos. And the very architecture of the cosmos, which was created by our parents, our divine mother and father, is also within each one of us, encoded in our souls. And all of creation has shifted into clarity of what that means for the collective, for our solar system, for our Earth, and for us as a human family. And therefore, it is important to share with you the gnosis that has landed for me, which I'm sure has landed for you too, because that's why you're here. The gnosis of who I am, and that is, I am a true Earth architect, and I'm a keyCode mentor. And there's a clarity that's been distilled in me to step into that and to start sharing from there in alignment with all that has unfolded on our beloved planet, our one crystalline home. So my love for not only all of creation, I equally love how a plant grows, how a bird flies, how another human expresses themselves in whatever form, whether through art, through music, through words, through presence, and how all the different celestial bodies are dancing through our solar system and therefore influences our very bodies of our being, our earth. And my curiosity about all of that is always underpinned by, so what's the impact of all of that on me as a person, as this very biology of my being, if I can use the old language. And I've always been curious about that. How does thoughts, how does emotion, how does physical functioning look like, and how they impact each other? How does it influence and inspire others? And the intricacy of that, and therefore inspires the collective as a whole. So that curiosity was always there. And it was only during this last few months, so this last few years, I've been on this path, just like you. I've been on this path that has brought me into the centeredness of my being. A path that was very long, very challenging at times, and equally joyful, because it is this realization that both is equally important, because through doing or through being aware of both simultaneously, there's alchemy that happens in the center, and all of that has brought me to distill and clarify the centeredness of who I am as a human being. And the one thing that has always driven me is, how does a flower form? How does a person grow? And how's behavior influenced by, the lineage of that person? How does an animal know when to eat, when to go and drink? All of that. And how does our bodies know when to wake up? The signs of when I'm hungry, the guidance what to eat, and how the thoughts and emotions impact all of that. And why I'm sharing this innate curiosity is that has led me continuously always back to my center, and this gnosis that I'm guided from within. Always listen to what this person or that group is saying, how they're behaving, what's going on, but always only driven by the guidance from within, being self-sourced through all of it. And I've never been so clear on that until this last few months that I've walked through, is that I am sourced by our one creator, the source of all of creation, our divine mother, father. And I am sovereign through that, and I'm free because of that. And I've always been, but I've stepped into a clarity. And as I was stepping into this clarity, as I was guided how this has served me, how that has served me on my path, and that has served me on my path, and how all of my paths has led me to the very center of my being and the center of each one of my cells, which this gnosis is grounded in. What started being revealed to me is this very architecture of my light body. And I know that there's a biology that was formed around the functioning of a human body, a biology. And there's many fields that has developed out of that. But what I have remembered fully is that not only biology, but also all the specific processes of that biology is all grounded in our very spirit, our very soul, our very centeredness, our very essence. And that is our crystalline architecture, the anatomy of our spirit bodies. And that very anatomy of our spirit bodies is the essence through which and from where all our elemental properties, all the minerals and our elemental structures are magnetized through the very elemental properties and minerals of the earth on which we have the honor to be on during these moments. It all magnetized through this very crystalline architecture of our being and the anatomy of that. It magnetizes all of those elements and minerals to form this very physical expressions of our beings. So the very architecture and the anatomy of that is what I've not only remembered, but remembered that I'm here to share with others. And it is grounded and interwoven into the true earth architecture of Gaia. And it is linked into and it circulates through the very architecture of our solar system and the Milky Way of our galaxy, and into the very universe which we are centered in, our one cosmic body. And that is what I refer to as our HomoLuminous, our HomoGalacticus, and our HomoUniversalis, and all of that woven into the true earth architecture of all beings. And as a keyCode mentor, I am here to support others to not only remember their architecture, but through the keys and codes that we exchange to be grounded in that and to serve from that place of grace, of eternal love, and of boundless beauty, joy, and wisdom. Because all the answers indeed is within all of us. And as we are magnetized to each other, we start being in coalescence, in collaboration, because we know that as we are magnetized together and keys and codes are exchanged, there are activations, inspirations that occurs. And that is the beauty of the inherent inwoven wisdom that's within us. And as embodied guardians, stewards, and leaders, we have learned how to interpret that, to see that around us as the codes of guidance and support. And the very architecture of all of creation is embedded within everyone. And as we show up, our presence activates that, our codes that we share activates that, and it inspires. And through doing so, we are all taking hands and we are in co-creation of grounding this very true earth architecture. And through doing so, we are creating a new way of being, leading, and serving in this world, in this galaxy. So that we can return Earth to her benevolent stewardship of our galaxy as the very source of our bodies and our service and our beingness. We are all self-sourced, we are all sovereign, and we are all free. And we are here to support each other, to remember that, so that we can support the collective consciousness rising harmonically together to be a reflection of the luminosity of who we are as a humanity, and the sovereignty of that, and the integrity of our architecture. And the rootedness of that in the most centered place of our sacred crystal hearts. The very sovereign magnetisms of our being. So, having said all of that, what can you expect to receive on this channel, our One Crystalline Home, is guided messages, a synthesis of these messages, which is also in the format of poetry, that in the moment I'm guided through the words that's flowing out to just start writing or recording, and this poem is created as a means of inspiring others, all self-sourced, all encoded with the sovereignty of creation. And I will also share some collaborations with others that happens in the moment as both of us are guided and enter into this exquisite dance of co-creation. And I'll also start sharing more group work as well. When groups come together, groups of sovereign leaders, guardians and stewards, and we start co-creating, and with the purpose and the intention to serve the collective consciousness. And may every word, every code that is here for you to receive, to activate, to inspire, to soften into and to receive, be so in the most beautiful and exquisite way. It is my deepest honor to share these messages with you. And thank you, thank you, thank you for being here, during this most exquisite moment in the restoration, regeneration of the gnosis of who we are as sovereign, free, self-sourced beings of light. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And may you be blessed in all ways, always, until